All right, Josh, we may not agree on this next topic. Are the Bills, after getting absolutely annihilated by the Miami, I mean, this thing wasn't even close. The Dolphins obliterated the Bills in their own building down in Miami. The question on the screen is, are they contenders or pretenders? And let me clarify for the audience before you go. What we mean by this is, are the Buffalo Bills still premier Super Bowl contenders?
And the answer for that, well, here's the interesting thing. Buffalo had won 7 straight against Miami coming into this game, which includes a 31-21 victory back in week 3 on Thursday Night Football in Buffalo. The last time the Dolphins beat the Bills was in week 3 of the 2022 season in Miami. That was the game. It ended like 21-19 with the weird shadows and all that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But I mean, Miami's always played Buffalo tough, though, even in Buffalo.
That part is true, yes. But, and I said this to you, and I think this is part of the reason you put this question as a topic. If you take Josh Allen off of the Buffalo Bills, they're the same team as the Cleveland Browns in that regard. That's how valuable Josh Allen is to the Buffalo Bills.
And I think at the trade deadline, it was telling that Brandon Beane admitted they wanted to trade within the division and get Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins, and Buffalo offered a 2027 first. Sounds like Miami wanted the 2026 first. I'm shocked Miami even entertained it in the same division. But to me, the fact that Buffalo was trying to go out and get that wide receiver tells me that they feel like they don't have enough. And now this Dalton Kincaid injury is going to change things too if he's out for a significant amount of time.
And with all that being said, I believe the Buffalo Bills window is closed.
Wow, wait, you're not saying it's closing. You are saying currently today they have no shot to win the Super Bowl. It's closed.
Closed. I think they are pretenders. And the old empire is back. Not only do I think the New England Patriots are going to win that division, but the road to Super Bowl 60 at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, is going to run through Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm being completely honest with you. If you were to tell me right now what the AFC Championship game is going to be, I think most people would probably tell you it's going to be Kansas City going to New England.
Yes. So for me, because the Buffalo Bills didn't do anything at the trade deadline, and given how much they depend on Josh Allen to be Superman, I have to say they're pretenders.
So here's where I'm at on this. History usually tells us that quarterbacks in their first or second year without a great roster around them, because I still don't think New England's roster is great. Let me clarify that. I think they are a year ahead of schedule. I think that there are holes in that roster still, particularly on the offensive line and at the skill position group, receiver and tight end. I like Hunter Henry, but I don't think he's a world beater. I do think Travion Henderson finally breaking out and me leaving him on the bench in fantasy football this week.
That's how I felt leaving Matthew Stafford on the bench in favor of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. So I think that breakout helps them. I think that was a very impressive win. Going down to Tampa, I was so impressed. Even though the Bucs were banged up, I thought Todd Bowles and that blitzing style would get after Drake May. I thought New England would struggle on the road.
Here's my one concern with New England coming this offseason.
Hold on. Let me see if it's the same concern I have about them.
Okay.
That is, Do you know Drake May leads the league in sacks this year?
Okay, so it's not the same concern.
Okay. That's my concern is I think Drake May is going to end up getting hurt. They do not protect him. He's putting up great numbers, and they do this great job in the second half of really adjusting, and Drake's been great in the completion percentage department. But him and Justin Herbert are getting hit more than Cam Ward. I didn't think that was possible with how much Cam Ward was getting hit.
So I agree with you, but my concern is the fact that Stephon Diggs is only on a 1-year contract. So if they don't re-sign Stephon Diggs, where are they going to find another top target for Drake May?
It's called the draft. We know look at Emeka Buka this year. They found him at what, pick 18?
Yeah. So that's my concern though for the Patriots is do they have enough weapons around Drake May, and what happens if they're not able to re-sign, Stephon Diggs? But to get back to the Buffalo Bills, it's interesting. It's almost like they treat the Kansas City game like it's their Super Bowl.
They do. And as I said last week to you, the Chiefs are the Warriors and the Buffalo Bills are the Houston Rockets. Where the Rockets were so obsessed with beating Golden State, right? They did all these analytics. They went to the James Harden, the point guard, and the no center lineup because we're going to beat Golden State with all these threes. And then they don't beat Golden State, and look what happens to them.
Yeah,
I think the same thing. I think Buffalo is obsessed with Kansas City. And I think
about this. And we talked about this last week. They made all these moves in the offseason for one reason.
Yep.
Just to beat Kansas City. And you did that last week. But what happened when you went down to Miami and took on a very dysfunctional Dolphins team that fired their general manager in Chris Greer? They're going to keep Mike McDaniel as their head coach for the rest of the season, which I still don't understand. They trade Jalen Phillips. Everybody thought they were going to trade Jalen Waddle and some of their other pieces.
Maybe Minka Fitzpatrick. I know he was being dangled at the deadline.
Yeah. And you come out flat. I don't want to say flat as a pancake because that's what the Packers were.
Well, there are rumors going around that Josh Allen had the flu. He certainly did play like it. He was completely off the whole game. Who knows if that's true or not? But this is the one thing I wanted to bring up. The last topic we talked about Brian Dable. Before Brian Dable got the job with the Giants, he was the offensive coordinator of this team, the Buffalo Bills. And before he got that job with the Giants, I think it was right before we started our championship ring show. It was going into that season. And I had said, if I was the Bills at that point in time, I would not have let Dable left the building. I would have actually let Sean McDermott go, and I would have promoted Brian Dable to the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I like Sean McDermott. I think he's a very good coach. I think he's a great culture setter. If the Browns were to fire Kevin Stefanski and McDermott came here, I would absolutely love it. The problem is, I think Sean McDermott is sort of like a Mark Jackson or a J.B. Bickerstaff of the NFL, which is where he can get you wins. You can win divisions. You can be a really good team. But he's just not the guy that's going to get you over the top into the promised land. And I think it's very interesting if Dable's job is available and Buffalo does flame out early in these playoffs, is Josh Allen going to say, go get me that guy?
I hadn't even thought about that as a possibility. But it's so interesting when you look at the state of the AFC. You got the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Colts as the top three in the AFC.
Just like we all predicted coming into the year.
Yes. And I think Baltimore is a freight train coming right down the tracks. They're going to destroy the Browns on Sunday. Lamar is going to have a field day.
Don't be so sure.
I am not going to be at that game on Sunday. Due to personal reasons, I will not be going to any more Cleveland Browns games this season, and we'll see moving forward. But I'm not going to speak any more on that. That is personal to me. But you got the Steelers faltering. Baltimore's coming. And you got the Chargers and the Chiefs along with the Broncos. And I thought Houston was dead and buried, but now they're back at 500.
A 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter by Davis Mills.
Yes. So is there a possibility where somehow, some way, the Buffalo Bills miss the playoffs?
If they lose to Tampa this week, it's a possibility.
Which I know the Buccaneers are banged up, but I wouldn't put it past Baker Mayfield to pull off a road win in Buffalo.